Okay, so in keeping with the done is better than perfect theme I've been throwing at you all the past couple days, I am going to shoot this video with my camera on my computer because I'm not learning a new program today to give you a proper pretty screencast. So here is my real life look with the post-its and everything. So I'm going to show you how to create a Google form. If you are not tech inclined, please don't attempt this. This is not important right now. This is for people who find things like this pretty intuitive and who feel like they could learn a little new skill a couple days before the party. So, in order to create a Google form, which is basically like an online survey, you need to have a Gmail account. So that's the first step. Once you've logged into your Gmail, and there are other ways to access it too, but once you've logged into your Gmail, you can click on these 9 little dots here at the top right of the screen, right next to your profile picture. You click on that and that'll show you a bunch of different apps Google has. If you scroll through, you'll get down to this purple one that says Forms. So right now it's taking me to where all of the forms that I've created currently exist. I have order forms for my VIP page. I have order forms for things that our team is ordering. I have an online order form for my Facebook parties. I do it to get info from my team or, all sorts of things. But if you want to start a new one, you tap on this plus sign. Sorry, you don't tap. We are now on a computer. And you can't see that right now. So at the top left, there is a plus sign. You're going to click on that. And Google Forms are easiest to use when you're creating them from a desktop computer. Just a little FYI. So first thing I like to do is title it My Facebook Online Ordering Form. I find that these online forms make it way easier for your guest. So that's what you see. This is what they see. So there we go. Boom. Make it way easier for your guests to give you their order and their contact info without having to have a bunch of back and forth. So you can put flash sales on here. You can say like, if your order gets to this amount, would you like me to add this for $10? That kind of thing. It really decreases the back and forths. You type in a little description so they know what this is about and how you'll be contacting them. I put my contact info at the bottom of it. It's just a really helpful tool. So this is where you put your questions. So here, I like to always know who their host is because this can go into a spreadsheet after your host's name. And it automatically said short answer. If I wanted it to be longer for whatever reason, I can change it to paragraph. I can make it multiple choice, check boxes, all sorts of options. But short answer is good. It's just a name. And then I can make this a required field by clicking here. That'll turn the color of whatever my form is. If that's required, then they can't submit it without answering. So I make pretty much everything required so that they have to answer my questions, with the exception of like, would you like to host a party? Or like click all that apply. I have like my party, my newsletter, joining my team. I'm not going to force them into those things, but everything except for that question is required so that I know I have their postal code, I know I have their phone number, that sort of thing. I like to put their contact info in here. I ask them to put their order and any descriptions as necessary, colors, that sort of thing. And I put my contact info at the bottom and let them know that I will be contacting them to confirm their order once I've received this, or in however long you decide. When I want to share this form, I can click on this send button at the top here, top right, and you can send it to someone via email. You can create a link, which is my favorite. So right here, you tap here or click, sorry, and that's the link. And I always click in this little box that says shorten URL, so I'm not sharing a super long link. And then you click copy, and you can paste that anywhere. So you can paste it into Facebook, you can paste it into a text, you can paste it into an email, you can put it wherever you want. So I just like having a link so I can copy it and paste it. And that's really helpful to also have in the group description. So if you're creating an online ordering form for them, they can easily access it that way. There are all sorts of settings you can play with. You can customize things. When it's time to look for responses, you just go into your form, you click on responses, and you can have it go to a spreadsheet. So I'll say create new spreadsheet, and then it'll go to a Google Sheet automatically. So as people come in, all their info in each question you ask will be in these columns. It's really handy. Going back to the form, you can also look at the responses. There aren't any right now, so you can't see, but you can look at the responses individually. It'll give you a percentage of how many people answered with what. Not as helpful for customer order forms, but for other information. And if you click on these three dots, you can play with other settings too, like make sure you get an email. I highly recommend clicking on this one. Get an email when people respond so you don't miss people ordering, that kind of thing. You'll also probably want to change the settings so that it's not restricted. So right here, where it says require sign-in, it defaults to restrict users in your address. So if you unclick that, then they won't need special requirements. They can just access the form and send it to you. You can also have it collect email addresses for you. That's one of the questions in my form. And I want to make sure that I'm using an email address that they want me to use. So I always uncheck that so that I'm just using the information they're giving me. And then you click save and you're good to go. So you can play around with this. You can make it pretty. You can add images. You can do all sorts of things. You can get caught into a real wormhole here if you're that type of personality, but this is how you create a Google form. So I'll go back. I'll actually show you how to create a new question. So we've got our host name. You click on this plus sign. That adds a new question. So now I'm going to do, phone number. And I like to make sure that they give me a cell so I can text them. That's my preference. And you can do all sorts of things. You can make sure that this one has numbers in it so that if they, you can restrict things. Your email section has an @ sign. You can make it do really specific things if you want, but I just keep it simple. So that is creating a Google form in a nutshell. And don't do this if you are not technologically inclined. It will save you a lot of back and forth, but I would say learn this later because you can still have a very successful Facebook party without a Google form. It'll just be a little bit more back and forth, but you can be strategic about how you request the information from them too so that you get it all at once. So I hope that helps.